As you all know, I am Joanna Taylor. I was hoping to use a voiceover instead of my actual voice, but it is what it is. For this third presentation, I decided to use the concepts of sin as we have described in class to mention how envy is seen in today's society, specifically in situations like diet culture and reaching a healthy physique. What is envy and how is it different from jealousy? Envy is described to be an emotion. Emotions, unlike feelings, are distinct mental responses that occur when an individual is deeply hurt by a situation they are experiencing. Envy can be described in many different ways, but one that stood out to me was when envy was described as wishing misfortune on someone else because you are not experiencing the fortunes that they have in their life. Although it may seem similar to jealousy, which is a term more commonly used in today's society, the terms are actually quite different from one another. Jealousy is a feeling that is driven by fear of being replaced in a specific situation. So to further explain these two topics, we are going to do a quick exercise. Looking at the pictures in the background, do you think the experience would be described as envy or jealousy? In this first one, you see two women, both with different amounts of presents that they receive. You can tell that the woman on the left does not seem pleased with the situation. Would you say this is a situation of envy or jealousy? This would be a situation of envy. In the second example, you see two children, one with a popsicle and the other with ice cream. You can tell that the child with the popsicle does not seem pleased with the situation. Would you say this is a situation of envy or jealousy? This is a situation of envy. And in this example, you see a couple walking and another female walking away from the other ones. The man in the situation turned around to check out the woman walking away. You can tell that his significant other does not seem pleased with the situation. Would you say that this is a situation of envy or jealousy? This is a situation of jealousy. The history of envy. As most of us have known from the course, envy is one of the well-known 7 deadly sins described within the Catholic religion. A quote that I found to help clarify the original meaning of envy is, "Envy is pain at the good fortune of others." Through my research, I have also found that there are 3 known stories about envy. The Tale of the Peacock. The Tale of the Peacock goes like this. There was a peacock who was considered the most majestic bird in all the land. Everyone would wait for the moment to lay their eyes on the most admirable animal. Then a group of owls came from a foreign place and began to mention a new beautiful bird, a golden pheasant, who was more majestic than ever. A turkey overheard this rumor and decided to explore the rumor for himself to investigate. When he left on his journey, he was never seen again. This story was used to teach the concept that it is useless to bring others down to make yourself feel better. The tale of who's worst. In this next tale, there was a king in a country who wanted to determine whether stinginess or envy was worse in a person. To figure out the means of his question, he called forward the stingiest and most envious of all the men in the area. The king proceeded to tell the men one thing. Each of you can ask me for whatever you want, but I'm going to give double to the person next to you. The men found this statement to be quite difficult because they were forced into a mindset where by asking he would also be giving. The stingiest man decided to wish for nothing. Therefore, the other 2 men would also receive nothing. But when statements got to the envious man, he requested for one of his eyes to be taken out. This story was used to explain the way that envy drives people so far to pursue their own suffering if it means someone else will suffer more. Lastly, in the third tale, the tale of the crabs, there was a fisher who was selling crabs near a beach. There were two buckets, one that was covered, one that was uncovered. Nobody really understood why until a woman came along to look at the crabs and was curious why some buckets were covered and others were not. She mainly wondered if they were of different quality. When she asked, the fisherman replied that the covered bucket was Japanese crabs and the uncovered ones were national crabs. The woman was thoroughly confused. The fisherman further explained that, you see, Japanese crabs escape easily. When one of them tries to get out, the others form a chain and help him until he manages to run away. That's why it's necessary to put a lid on the bucket. On the other hand, the national crabs, as soon as they see that someone is trying to escape, they grab him and hold him so that he doesn't succeed. This story is a tale used to explain that an envious person prefers to achieve nothing provided that others don't achieve as well. So what does envy look like today? Envy today is much more focused on striving to achieve more glory and fame. With social media being on a high, many people strive for these new followers and the most amount of likes to be deemed successful. There are many ways that envy is portrayed in being able to fit society's current standards for what someone should look like. Envy over personal physique. This includes envy over personal physique and body shaming. People in today's society will work hard to tear each other down on social media when they see progress photos or body positivity photos online. This is individuals being envious of people who are actually succeeding at their personal or mental physique goals. Envy over resources. Although not necessarily the same idea, there has also been a large growth in the envy that is demonstrated through the use of resources like food. We do not notice the food that we all have around us, and there are people who become envious of different forms of food organizations that are used to help individuals who cannot afford food on a regular basis. These envious people attempt to tear down these people by calling them needy and other negative terms. Diet culture. Continuing this idea, there is also a level of deception and envy when it comes to diet culture. The diet culture industry creates a fake miracle working products that help individuals achieve the physique that they envy from other people. This deception creates an overwhelming amount of individuals utilizing unhealthy materials to try to achieve a body standard that they envy from someone else having. From my courses, along with what we have discussed in this class, I feel that body dysmorphia and envy would have a terrible impact on an individual's ability to maintain personal confidence in themselves. Thank you all so much for your time, and thank you for bearing with me through this experience.